A very good morning, thanks for clicking on to the very first edition of Vogan's European Outlook of the new year. Hope you had a great New Year celebration. Certainly a lot of interesting things to come as we push towards the weekend. Of course, we're talking about Storm Aileen that is going to be pushing, or Eleanor should I say, that's going to be pushing across the central swathe of the British Isles through the course of the next 24 hours. So plenty of wind, rain, severe gales, gusts in excess of 70 miles an hour, all on the cards for the next day or so, and then that system will push through. But it does look as if the month of December overall wound up either average to maybe even slightly above average, despite the fact that with some very cold air during the first half of the month, the coldest opening of December since 2010. But then we got a significant break in that cold period between the 15th and say the 25th. We turned back to cold once again with some significant snowfall. In fact, the biggest snowfall of the season for many places, including the central portion of Scotland. And then now we've also once again flipped back to mild again. But it does look as if we are going to enter a colder period as we push towards the latter half of this week and into the weekend in particular. Could be talking about the first, or should I say the strongest push of cold air of the entire winter coming up. So we're going to keep our eyes on this rather closely. It's difficult sometimes to not overhype things, but it does certainly look as if it's going to be another blast of winter as we push towards the period. So we've got Eleanor, of course, pushing through. That is a developing area of low pressure, deepening as it pushes across the southern portion of Scotland. It looks as if the strongest winds, southern portions of Northern Ireland, stronger even for the Republic, where we could be talking about 80, maybe locally 90 miles an hour. And then we're going to be talking about that across the northern...
You took your holiday.
Remember what I said to you? Okay. Then across the northern half of England, we could be talking about gusts in excess of 70 to 80 miles an hour as well. Notice the track of these areas of low pressure. Eleanor pushes through, then we've got another system that pushes through as we push towards the latter half of this work week. That could be another strong wind and rainmaker, but the track is important, because it's crossing Ireland and the northern and central portion of England. So therefore, Scotland is still in the colder air. If that area of low pressure pushed further north, we'll be drawing that milder air up further north. But because it's driving across a kind of west-east direction across the northern portion of England, we hold on to the colder air, and therefore the precipitation that wraps around that area of low pressure will then turn the snowfall as it does so. So that system then exits, and then it's on the back side of that area of low pressure. That's when the cold air comes back in from the north-northeast once again, with turn up precipitation quite markedly from rain to snow, I think. So it's going to be an interesting end to this week, into the weekend, and then I think things are going to start to turn rather bitter as we push in through the weekend. So it's a perfect scenario for a north-northeasterly wind, discharge of air straight out of the Arctic. We've got a 1029 high to the south of Iceland. We've got a 989 millibar low to the west of Denmark here. So where we're pulling our air in from, well, of course we're pulling our air in from the Arctic. Then this area of high pressure builds as it drifts up and in across the northern half of the UK. So what we're going to essentially do is we've got low pressure now centred across northern Scotland, low pressure centred over really over Iberia, where we could be seeing some interesting snow even down to low levels. But the key to this is that we're going to start to pick up an easterly wind, and that is going to be the first time we've seen that this winter so far. The big question is going to be how cold do we have that air coming in from the east. So if it's bitterly cold over Scandinavia, we're going to have a bitterly cold easterly wind. If it's less cold where that wind is blowing from Scandinavia, it's not going to be just quite as potent. So there's a lot of things to still determine here, but we could be talking about a bitterly cold easterly wind with snow in the forecast, but also we could be talking about underneath that powerful area of high pressure, some very, very chilly nights indeed, and potentially the coldest of the winter so far here. We've got a 1041 area of high pressure centred directly over the Grampians, of course. If we've got snow on the ground, which we should have, I think minus 13 is going to be very easy to beat indeed. So we've got a lot of winter coming up late this week, into the weekend, and then it looks as if the GFS at least indicates that that area of high pressure builds into Scandinavia, will pick up a kind of east-southeasterly wind, going to be dominating the British Isles with a very, very cold air mass indeed. And then it looks as if we've got this fight between Arctic, continental air and Atlantic air to the west. But certainly, I certainly would not say that this month of January is going to be anything in the way of a particularly warm one, certainly given what I'm seeing at this moment in time. Lots going on as ever. Thanks for watching. Hope you've had a great New Year celebration, and stay tuned. I'm going to have a lot more over the coming week. Bye for now.
Down here.